Everyone get out!
Hello tankers and tankettes, welcome to a replay of mine. This is the STI or the ST1, whichever you prefer. Somebody actually commented on one of my recent videos, why don't we see more replays of this? And I don't tend to have that many great games in it. It's a very solid tank, it's definitely one of the best tier 9 heavies. But for me it's very much a kind of workhorse tank. It's not flashy, it does the job, it gets you where you need to go. It can do a reasonable amount of damage, as we're going to see in this match, but they're not typically the kind of games that I would go, okay, I'm going to save this and make a replay, and you know, this is an exception, but even this one is kind of like, having watched it back to have some idea what I'm going to say for when I actually start recording, even though it's a really good match, it's not the kind of typical match that I would consider putting up on my channel, but it's more of a kind of typical STI match. So I don't know, I don't know what it tells you about the tank, or maybe what that tells you about my playstyle, but even though it doesn't appear very often, I do like this tank a lot. So don't get me wrong, the fact that it doesn't appear with great regularity doesn't mean that I don't like it. It's just the kind of games that I've said this basically already, haven't I? I'm just into repeating myself now. Anyway, it's Steps, and I'm with Circon and Anubis. They've both gone over to the cap because this is Encounter, and because there's sufficient tanks on this side, if you've got somebody on this side who is in a very strong unit, like say the STI, that can aggressively push, you can actually you can be offensive on this flank, not just defensive. So I wasn't rushing to my spots where I usually go, because I knew the STI wouldn't get me there in time, and that was actually something I did in a KB4 video recently that you saw, where I came through with very little health indeed. Wasn't risking it this time, because this is actually it's a bit of a slower tank. Well, is it slower than the KB4? I don't know. But I wasn't able to, I didn't feel that I could get there in time. So at the moment, I'm basically abusing the fact that there is no artillery to basically be hull down, basically. This thing has got a monstrous top turret. It is not totally impenetrable, but it's very, very tough for a lot of tanks. Same tier, even tier 10, have a very hard time with this. So I'm being quite cautious here. I'm trying to hide my upper front plate, my lower front plate. I got kind of lucky with some of the shots that I did, like that Jagdtiger 8.8 through the superstructure. That's one that's not usually going to pen, but sometimes it's worth trying. It depends on their relative angle. IS-8's a much softer target, but I'm taking fire from the side all of a sudden. So they weren't really being aggressive on that corner up until now, but this IS-3 in particular does actually know where to shoot. So I'm going to back off, because these guys are shooting at me, and it's preferable to, if you can limit the number of people that are shooting at you at a given moment, and actually see, there's the IS-3 again, he knows where to shoot. If you can limit the number of people shooting at you, the number of angles you're being attacked from, that greatly simplifies the process of angling, because if you're trying to angle against enemies, you know, a full front quarter arc kind of thing, that's really tough. Somebody somewhere is going to pen you, and even there, that IS-3 was actually managing to do a decent amount of damage against me there. So it worked well against the Jagdtiger 8.8. I try against the Jagdtiger, but I'm not going to have any luck. I think I used up my lucky RNG throw with penning the superstructure. I think they are the same thickness as well, those two, but it just depends on RNGesus and whether he decides to give you a high enough roll or not. Anyway, this has paid off quite nicely though. We are doing quite well here. I'm just looking for some shots. Don't know why I shot that IS-8. I was trying to go for the kill, I guess. But it was such a bad angle, I don't know why I tried that, to be honest. Anyway, upper front plate, the Jagdtiger, that's a much better prospect, so I can just pummel away at this guy, and he has got multiple things to deal with, so it's a lot safer to move up now. He's not going to be focusing on any one person particularly, he's just going to be panicking, and, you know, he's down, and it is now just an IS left. It was a bit of a kill secure, that Jagdtiger, because, you know, he was on fire. But I just was like, nope, kill secured. On the other side of the map, it was fairly... I mean, you can see where Unubis and Circon were. They were kind of at the forefront the whole time, which is, you know, what can you expect from those two? They're both very good players. But this was another one, like that KV4 game, where the enemy team really didn't put up that much resistance. But it's just more the fact that somebody said, hey, we don't do enough STI games. And I don't think I do put up enough, because it's a tank I like, but it's just getting the right sort of replays is surprisingly tricky. And it's quite hard to define to people what the right sort of replays are, but it's definitely a case of I'll know it when I see it. So anyway, a last bit of free damage there against that AFK T43. That was a pretty decent match. In terms of damage, it was a very decent match. I don't often get to get that much damage out of a game. Steel Wall, not that uncommon. Sniper was nice though. Well, not that you get a sniper these days. This was an 810 replay. But it's not the most accurate gun. It's also a very long aiming gun, which is, you know, hey, it's a Russian gun. But it's nice to get it on a tank like this, and even if they all didn't pen, it was still 16 shots fired, 16 hits, 14 pens, which is, you know, 5100 damage. Potential damage was nearly 6k. Don't get me wrong, this was a good game for this tanker. It was probably much better than the average. It wasn't any kind of mastery badge. I do actually have my ace tanker game in the STI saved as a replay, but unfortunately it's kind of bugged out. And it's another one where, even though it's my ace tanker game, it's like, it's not necessarily a replay I would ordinarily put up, even if it wasn't bugged, which unfortunately it is. So yeah, I don't know what it is about this tank. It's just, it doesn't do flashy games. It does very kind of solid, reliable games. It's got good armor. It's got a very good gun. It's just a package I know how to use. But unlike, say, the mouse, where I've had plenty of entertaining games, I just don't seem to get that with the STI. I don't know why. But nonetheless, I do like it an awful lot, and I would definitely recommend the line as a whole to anybody interested in well-armoured tanks, because they're a very solid bunch of machines. So, if you did like this replay, you can hit the like button below, you can check out my other videos, you can check out my Facebook page, you can leave a comment, you can subscribe to my channel, and of course, as always, stay tuned for more.